What's up, everybody? You're watching Model Aviator. My name's Adam, and this week we're going to do something that we don't do very often. This is going to be the first in a two-part video series on the UMX Pitts. Now, you may be wondering, how in the world do you fill two full episodes on a UMX Pitts? Well, this first one today is not going to be too long. You're just going to basically see some fun flying at the schoolyard with our original 2S Pitts. We broke it. Keen eye has probably already noticed that the top wing is no longer attached, the strut is broken, the spinner is kind of scrunched up, and the gear is no longer attached, and we cracked the fuselage. This is fixable, and we are going to fix it, and then some, and then do something very, very interesting with it. That will be in part 2. So check out this fun flying at the schoolyard with our original 2S Pitts. And then we'll meet you back here on the bench and tell you some pretty cool plans we have for the second video in this series. So check this out. I remember the first time I flew the version 1 UMX Pitts, I was amazed at how well it flew. And I had flown a Byron Originals quarter scale Pitts years ago. That old Byron technically flew better than this tiny little thing, but it had the old Byro Drive belt drive unit with a Weber 61, so power-wise it was kind of a dog. This little UMX was the first Pitts I'd ever flown that wasn't crazy twitchy, flew fairly smooth, and was properly powered. The UMX Pitts is my favorite ultramicro of all time. Here we're doing a knife edge circle. This little plane really has a lot of capability, and I really like how scale it looks. Obviously they took a lot of liberties with it to make it fly better as a model, but the liberties that they took were very tactical. You're left with an airplane that looks pretty doggone scale, but will do really impressive out-of-scale things like hover, for instance. Here we're in the middle of a couple of pop-top attempts. The little Pitts doesn't do those very well. It's not technically a pop-top, but it's close enough, and what it does do is pretty interesting. We chose to fly it at the schoolyard, in the schoolyard parking lot, for a reason. There's light poles and trees and obstacles, the kind of things that you run into in a place like that. And it's our way of just kind of reminding folks, there's a lot of people in the States here that are a bit worried about remote ID coming. And whatever camp you're in, as far as that goes, one thing to remember is that ultramicros, like this Pitts, are exempt. So you can take these and fly them pretty much anywhere that you have room, anytime you want, and you don't have to worry about any regulations. So that's going to make ultramicros, I think, even more popular than they've ever been before. Obviously, under remote ID, you'll be able to fly your park flyer size airplanes and your larger airplanes, although it may take a bit more planning on your part. But it's nice to know, on the days that you just don't feel like messing with that, there's things like this that you can just go out and fly and not worry about it. Now here, I decided to walk out and just do one more hover, kind of close to Heidi, just to get some footage. Now bear in mind, my timer went off before I landed. Let's see how this goes. Okay, so we have a teaching moment here, and I thought I would share it with you. That's what happens when you push your luck and go into low voltage cutoff. And it had already gone off, and I thought, yep, I'll just get some footage of another hover really fast. And it bit me. So, knocked the gear off, not that big of a deal. Cracked the fuselage where the gear goes in, you can see that. Scrunched up the spinner, but not too bad. I can actually reshape that, to be honest with you. It's not bad. Loosened the upper wing from the fuselage and broke one of the struts. You know, such is life. Even as long as I've been doing this, you live, you learn. And what I learned today is when you know better than to do something, don't do it. I've had airplanes go into low voltage cutoff before, and normally I quit. I didn't. That's what happens. I guess now it's time to break down and get the 3S version of this baby. Well, there you go. Part of the cat's out of the bag. You know now that we're going to get the 3S version of this, which means we're actually going to do kind of a mini review on that and compare it to the 2S version, see what they improved, how the flight performance is improved, if it is, and whether we like it better or worse than the original. I can already tell you, just based on the fact that you'll be able to use these super cool 3-cell normal batteries with their much more powerful engine or motor, I'm probably going to like the new version a lot better than this. We'll see, but I feel pretty positive about it. Now, the other thing that we're going to show you, our hope is to take you to a local hobby shop that we shop at and purchase the new version of the Pitts there and kind of show you the hobby shop. Then we'll do a little mini review of the new Pitts, compare it to this one, and then we're going to do something with the old one that's really cool. I've wanted to do this for so long. I have got a spare set of gear, not because I can't reuse the gear that's on it, but because I have an idea. I also have a tail section, not because the tail section is broken, but because I need the tail wheel. We're going to put the tail wheel on the top of the rudder, and I'm going to attach our new gear on top of the wing. and we are going to do what I saw a full-scale pilot do years ago, back in the 80s. There was a guy that flew around the States and did some aerobatics in a Pitts. I will find that video, and at the time that you're watching this, there will be a link to the video. It's not very good quality, but you can actually see somebody that flew a full-scale Pitts in an air show. They take it off, they do their routine, they landed it inverted, taxied by the crowd, waving at everybody inverted, went back out on the runway, took off, rolled it over, and re-landed it right side up so they could get out of it. I thought it was one of the coolest things I'd ever seen. And we're going to see, and you will see, our first attempts to see if we can land this thing inverted, which I think will be a super cool thing to see. Whether we fail or we succeed, it should be interesting. So part 2 should be really, really cool. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell, that way you won't miss the second part of this. All that is free of charge, doesn't cost you anything to subscribe, to like, to hit the bell so you get notifications of when we post a video. And I think the next one on the UMX Pitts is going to be interesting. You don't want to miss it. Hopefully, we'll see you then.